Ethan Cole used to believe in people. He believed in loyalty, in friendship, in love. At 32, he had built his life from nothing. Raised in foster homes, he learned early that the world was cruel, but he also learned how to survive. He worked day and night, finished college on scholarships, and started his own construction company in Texas. Cole Build Solutions became his dream. And the center of his world was Lena Brooks, the woman he loved with blind trust. She was beautiful, charming, and ambitious. She told Ethan he was her hero. She kissed him every morning before work and promised forever every night. Then there was Ryan Carter, Ethan's best friend since childhood. Ryan was there when Ethan had nothing. They shared food, pain, and secrets. Ethan trusted him like a brother. What Ethan didn't know was that Lena and Ryan were sharing something else too. One rainy evening, Ethan came home early. His chest hurt. Something inside him felt wrong all day. The house was silent. No welcome home. No smell of dinner. He walked upstairs, and heard laughter. Soft. Familiar. He opened the bedroom door. And his world collapsed. Lena was in his bed. With Ryan. Time froze. Lena screamed. Ryan jumped back. Ethan didn't shout. Didn't cry. He just stood there, watching the two people he trusted most destroy him. I can explain, Lena whispered. Ryan couldn't even look at him. Ethan walked out without a word. That night, he slept in his office. His hands were shaking. His heart felt like it had been cut open. But the worst was yet to come. 2 weeks later, Ethan received a legal notice. His company had been transferred. His accounts were frozen. He was accused of fraud. Ryan had used Ethan's digital signatures. Lena had given him access codes. They stole everything. Ethan was left with, no company. No money. No love. No friend. And a false criminal case. News headlines screamed, businessman Ethan Cole under investigation for corruption. People turned away from him. Investors vanished. Old friends blocked him. Even his own lawyer quit. One night, sitting alone in a cheap motel, Ethan looked at himself in the mirror. Beard grown. Eyes hollow. Hands trembling. They didn't just steal my life, he whispered. They buried me alive. His phone buzzed. A message from Lena, it's better this way. You were too weak for this world. Something inside Ethan snapped. Tears rolled down his face. But then, a slow, cold smile appeared. No, he said quietly. You made the wrong man your enemy. That night, Ethan Cole died. And someone new was born. A man with only one purpose, revenge. Ethan Cole sold his last possession the next morning. His watch. The one his mother had given him before she died. With that money, he bought a bus ticket. No destination. Just away. Away from the city that laughed at his fall. Away from the face of the woman who betrayed him. Away from the name that now meant criminal. For 6 months, Ethan vanished. No social media. No friends, no calls. He traveled through small towns, working under fake names. Dishwasher. Truck cleaner. Warehouse worker. At night, he studied law, finance, human behavior. He learned how companies collapse. How people lie. How revenge is not fire, but ice. Cold. Slow. Perfect. One night in Nevada, he met an old man named Victor Hale. Victor was rich once. Lost everything to betrayal. Just like Ethan. They sat in a quiet bar, drinking cheap whiskey. Pain makes men stupid, Victor said. But it can also make them kings. Ethan laughed bitterly. I don't want to be king. I want justice. Victor leaned closer. Justice is slow. Revenge is personal. Victor saw something in Ethan's eyes. Not weakness. Fire. He offered him a deal. I'll teach you how to rebuild, Victor said. Money. Influence. Power. Ethan didn't ask why. He only asked, how long? Victor smiled. 2 years. 2 years later, the world met Evan Cross. Sharp suit. Calm voice. Cold eyes. No one knew he was Ethan Cole. Victor helped him create a new identity. New accounts. New company. Cross Industries. Evan Cross invested silently. In Ryan's business partners. In Lena's fashion brand. In banks connected to their stolen money. Like a spider, he built a web around them. From afar, he watched Lena on TV. Famous. Rich. Smiling. Talking about hard work and success. Ryan was praised as a self-made businessman. Ethan watched the screen and whispered, "You are standing on my grave." One night, Evan Cross entered a luxury hotel in New York. A charity gala was happening. Guess who was there? Lena Brooks. Ryan Carter. They didn't recognize him. He was taller now. Stronger. Different haircut. Different soul. He walked past them like a stranger. But inside, his heart screamed. Later, he stood on the balcony with a drink. Lena came near him. "Nice suit," she said flirtatiously. Evan smiled politely. "Thank you. What's your name?" He looked into her eyes. The same eyes that once loved him. The same lips that lied. "Evan," he said. "Evan Cross." She smiled. "I'm Lena." "I know," he replied. She laughed. "How? Everyone knows successful people." Inside his head, Ethan whispered, "Soon, everyone will know what you really are." That night, Evan Cross made his first move. He bought shares in Ryan's company. Quietly. Legally. And when the sun rose, Ryan's company was no longer his. Just like that. The game had begun. Ryan Carter stared at his phone in shock. His assistant was panicking. "Sir, we lost controlling shares overnight. Someone named Evan Cross now owns the majority." Ryan's face turned pale. "That's impossible," he whispered. "I built this company." But deep inside, fear crawled into his chest. Someone was hunting him. That same afternoon, Lena walked into her office like a queen. Magazines on the table. Her fashion brand was booming. Her manager smiled nervously. "Lena, investors want a meeting." A new partner joined the board. "Who?" she asked casually. "Evan Cross." Her heart skipped. That name again. At a private boardroom in Manhattan, Ryan and Lena walked in from opposite doors. They froze when they saw each other. "You," Ryan snapped. "Why are you here?" Before they could fight, a tall man entered. Black suit. Cold smile. Evan Cross. "Good evening," he said calmly. "I believe I own this meeting." Ryan clenched his fists. "You stole my company." Evan raised an eyebrow. "Stole? No, I bought it." legally. Lena stared at him. Something about his eyes felt familiar. You look like someone I know, she said slowly. Evan smiled. Many people say that. He placed files on the table. Your companies are connected through illegal transfers, Evan said. Fraud. Tax evasion. Forged signatures. Ryan's face turned white. Lena whispered, that's impossible. Evan leaned forward. Is it? He showed them proof. Bank records. Hidden accounts. Old documents signed by Ethan Cole. Lena's hands shook. That was years ago. Evan's voice dropped. And it was murder of a man's life. Silence. Ryan laughed nervously. You don't scare me. Evan stood up. I don't need to, he said. The law will. He walked to the door and stopped. Oh, and one more thing. He turned back. I'm only getting started. That night, Lena couldn't sleep. She searched Ethan's old photos online. His face. His smile. She looked at Evan Cross's photo from the gala. Her breath caught. They look alike. A nightmare hit her. Ethan's voice in her dream, you buried me alive. She woke up screaming. Meanwhile, Evan sat in his penthouse, watching city lights. Victor's words echoed, revenge is not fire, it is ice. Evan opened a file titled, Phase 2 Destroy Trust. Names inside, heavy check mark Ryan Carter. Heavy check mark Lena Brooks. Heavy check mark Cole Build Accounts. He whispered, now, you will feel what I felt. Lena Brooks sat alone in her luxury apartment. Mirrors everywhere. Expensive furniture. Designer clothes. But inside, she felt naked. She kept seeing Ethan's face. The man she once called home. The man she destroyed. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Evan Cross, we need to talk. Privately. Her heart raced. Lena, about what? Evan, about your past. They met in a quiet restaurant. Soft music. Low lights. Evan was already there. Calm. Cold. Perfectly in control. Lena sat down slowly. You scare me, she said. Evan smiled faintly. I scare liars. She swallowed. Why are you doing this to us? Evan looked at her. Because some people think betrayal has no price. Her voice broke. I loved Ethan once. Evan leaned closer. Love doesn't steal. Love doesn't destroy a man's life. Tears filled her eyes. We were desperate. Ryan said Ethan would never know. Evan whispered, and you believed him. Silence. Then Lena said softly, I miss Ethan. Evan's jaw tightened. That man is dead. She looked up. Do you hate me? He paused. For the first time, Ethan's heart tried to escape. I don't feel anything, Evan said. But that was a lie. That same night, Ryan met a lawyer. They are reopening the case, the lawyer warned. Someone sent evidence. Ryan slammed the table. That Cross guy is ruining me. Fear took over his mind. He drank. He panicked. He made mistakes. And Evan Cross watched it all. A week later, Lena received a package. Inside, an old watch. Ethan's watch. The one she gave him as a gift. Her knees went weak. A note, you took everything from him. Now give him your truth. She cried for hours. Then she called Ryan. We have to confess, she said. Are you crazy? Ryan shouted. We'll go to prison. I can't live like this, she whispered. Ryan hung up. Lena realized, she was alone. That night, Evan stood in front of Ethan's old house. Empty. Silent. He touched the door. I came back, he whispered. But not as your victim. His phone rang. Victor. Phase 2 is working, Victor said. They are breaking. Evan closed his eyes. But revenge did not feel like victory. It felt heavy. Lena Brooks stood in front of the police station for almost 10 minutes. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was screaming, run. But Ethan's face wouldn't leave her mind. The man she betrayed. The man she buried under lies. She pushed the door open. Inside, the lights were cold. The air smelled like fear and truth. I want to report a crime, she said softly. The officer looked up. What crime, ma'am? My crime. Ryan Carter was in his office when the news hit him. Lena confesses in fraud case. His phone exploded with calls. Lawyers. Partners. Investors. His hands trembled. She ruined everything, he whispered. He tried to escape. But it was too late. Police cars waited outside his building. Handcuffs clicked around his wrists. Evan Cross watched the news on a silent TV. Lena crying. Ryan shouting. Reporters screaming questions. He didn't smile. He felt empty. Victor's voice came on the phone, you won. Evan replied quietly, I ended a lie. In a courtroom weeks later, Lena testified. Yes, we used Ethan Cole's identity. Yes, we forged documents. Yes, we stole his company. The judge looked at her coldly. Do you know what you did? She nodded. I killed a man's future. Ryan tried to deny everything. But the evidence was heavy. The truth crushed him. Sentence, Ryan Carter 15 years in federal prison. Lena Brooks 7 years. The courtroom was silent. Outside, Evan stood alone. Snow was falling. Slow. Quiet. He felt no joy. No celebration. Only closure. Victor joined him. Now what? Victor asked. Evan looked up at the sky. I remember who I was. That night, Evan Cross deleted his fake identity. Evan Cross was gone. Only one name remained, Ethan Cole. He walked into his old office building. Cole Build's sign was broken. He touched it gently. They took my life, he said. But they couldn't take my soul. Ethan Cole stood inside the empty building that once held his dreams. Broken glass. Dusty floors. Faded logo on the wall, Cole Build Solutions. For a long time, he just stood there. This place had seen his sweat. His hopes. His love. And his destruction. Now, it was silent. Weeks after the trial, the world slowly forgot the scandal. Ryan was behind bars. Lena disappeared from the media. Their names became warnings instead of legends. And Ethan walked free. Not as Evan Cross. Not as a ghost. But as himself. One morning, he visited his mother's grave. I lost myself, he whispered. I became anger. I became revenge. The wind touched his face. But I survived. Tears rolled down his cheeks. For the first time. I forgive me. Months later, a small new company opened. Not big. Not famous. Just honest. Coal restoration services. Helping rebuild homes destroyed by storms. Helping families who lost everything. Ethan worked with his hands again. Dust on his clothes. Sun on his face. People didn't know his past. They only knew, he was kind. He was fair. He was strong. One evening, a young boy asked him, "Sir, why do you work so hard?" Ethan smiled. "Because I know what it feels like to lose everything." The boy said, "Are you rich?" Ethan looked at the sunset. "I was once, but now I'm free." Sometimes, late at night, Ethan remembered Lena. Not with anger. Not with love. With acceptance. He learned something important: revenge ended his pain. But forgiveness ended his war. On the anniversary of his fall, Ethan stood on a bridge. The same city lights. The same cold wind. But a different man. "I died once," he said softly. "But I lived again." He turned and walked away. Not toward the past. But toward a future he built himself. New moon symbol the end sunrise.